Hey guys, right now we are on the south side or the south corner section of the garden, and I wanted to show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly of this section. It does contain evergreens as well as a Japanese maple tree here, but let's get closer in. So if we retreat a ways back from the garden area, you can see where the mulch and the grass actually meet or intersect. But moving closer in, or starting from the stairwell, we're met with my mailbox, which is next to some Valkyrie daisies, I believe. Now, although these Valkyrie daisies aren't open, they should be open within the next coming weeks from now, maybe 2 weeks, if not less. Probably should have an array of them. This guy has mounded in this area. I want to say it's about a 1.5 foot mound, possibly, if not 2 foot mound. And right off in the corner, you can see there's a tad bit of calendula growing here. Usually I accidentally drop seeds here and there, and these calendula are good at making a emergence. The Japanese maple tree right in front of me, it just so happens to be Koto no Ito. It's one that has kind of a lacy-like leaf or strap-like leaf. So very airy. The light does come through it very well. So it's not one that's going to really shade an area. In fact, I grew it here so I can sit in that area of the sun porch and not really have too much sunlight peering on me. Now, when I purchased this Koto no Ito, it did say it only gets 8 foot wide, I believe. I think it's reached maybe close to 8 foot wide now. As you can see, it's almost touching the wall, but I'm gonna make sure to keep it pruned off the building. If you look down beneath that Koto no Ito, there are a few shade plants down there that are kind of thriving, if I say so myself. But just as the shade plants are thriving here, we do have a few weeds that are growing in and out of the brick. So I'll get those pulled eventually and clear that up. I believe this is a Francais hosta here. This might be an autumn fern, an autumn brilliance, I think. And this might be some sort of a shield fern. I placed all these plants here. As I kind of maneuver too, you can see there is an oak leaf hydrangea placed down here, and you'll notice I love oak leaf hydrangeas. They tend to be placed all around the garden. So this one's growing along this back wall here, which is kind of being engulfed by the peony that has already flowered. Hasn't gone brown yet, so we're gonna keep it around until, I wanna say, late summer. By the way, I do believe it's either a Chinese or a Japanese peony. I have several different peony types, just this one is the unusual one that flowers in spring. And in front of this Koto no Ito, let me come in close for you guys, I have a Nova Flame Mookgenia. It's supposed to be like a cross between, let me see, I think a Virginia and something else. On the tag it says, oh, it doesn't really tell me. Or let me clear this off so we can see. So it says it's a cross between Mookgenia and Virginia. Super cool. So that plant's going to be low mounding. It's not going to really get too large. And it does produce flowers similar to that of the Virginia. Now, I eventually placed these in ground like some years ago. I think I threw some seeds down and they just keep coming back here. I'm thinking of removing it. I can't remember the specific name to this, but it's here. And eventually I'll remove it out because I want more of these GMs placed here. These guys are low growing as well, and they do produce pretty flowers during the springtime, which I do need to prune back. Or I was trying to wait to see if they go to seed themselves. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. And if you watched a previous video on ginkgo trees, this is actually where my ginkgo tree, my dwarf, is actually placed. It's on the south side, so it does receive all-day sun, especially since I'm going to keep the canopy of this Koto no Ito pruned up. And it's very strap-like, allowing for sun to go through. But this is the American ginkgo tree. If you want to know more about the ginkgos, go ahead and check out that video. So Behind my ginkgo, or my dwarf ginkgo, I do have another mound of daisy. This just so happens to be the May daisy, I believe. It's one that has more of a peachy yellow color to it as it does go into flower. And it's also a smaller mounding than the first daisy I've shown. I really tried to plant very compact to prevent some of the weeds from growing in this area, which seems to be working, although I will show you there is one weed we left intentionally because why not? I haven't weeded this area and I wanted to show you guys how the area does on its own throughout the year without weeding. So the weed is actually right back there. You can see I have not gone through and weeded this section. Shame on me. But, oops, I ripped it out without ripping it from the root. It'll come back up and we'll probably pull it then. It was directly inside of this, I believe, Francais hosta. We got a few of these guys growing around the garden. And this one is being eaten up by snails, probably because it's the perfect area for them, shamefully. In fact, in the back here, behind the Francais hosta, there is a coral barrels heuchera down there. I don't think it's probably placed in the right area, although it's looking good. I just think it might end up receiving too much shade eventually over time, so we might have to move that around eventually. And behind that, or on the other side of it, we did start some foxgloves from seed. Can't remember the variety, but eventually they may flower this year or the next year. Who knows? Now, another thing that's placed near this hosta is the crocosmia. And crocosmia gets quite large. At least, I want to say, maybe almost 5 foot tall, if not 4 foot tall, I'm guessing. So, this one just so happens to be growing right in amongst a oak leaf hydrangea, and it's really grown quite erratic. I'm thinking of removing a lot of those bulbs and placing them elsewhere just to give the oak leaf hydrangea some space to really grow. If you can really see it there, it's taken over that oak leaf hydrangea. Oh, look at this beautiful pine tree. I believe this is a Taylor's pine. It's one that stays pretty narrow, so getting about 8 foot wide and I think 10 foot tall. And then down below here, we have some of the lamb's ear that I started from, I think, small plants. I ended up dividing these guys and putting these in this area. And then over here, I have some snapdragons I started from seed. So these guys I started from seed over the wintertime, put them in ground here, and I'm hoping they go to flower first year. And I think the color really meshes well over here. You see the purple and then the lighter color of this bluish lamb's ear. I think it's called the heron lamb's ear. And then this is really ugly, but it's a poppy. It's a perennial poppy that's really starting to flop over. I'm thinking of staking it up because it looks terrible for right now. And there's another in the back here. I think that's doing a little bit better. Nope, not really. You can see that one's flopped over as well. Oh well. It is next to some Hananacloa grass. And in front of the Hananacloa grass, we have a hellebore. Not sure the actual name to the hellebore, but it's been around for, I want to say, over 3 years, which you can see it's really gotten moundy-ish. And then the crown and jewel of this area is going to be my Japanese maple tree, which is Bini Sukasa. And Bini Sukasa was placed in ground 2020. It's one that gets more peachy in color during the springtime, and then in fall we get sherbet colors of orange and yellows. It sits, I want to say, a good maybe 10 foot, about maybe 10 footish tall, if not a little less. And you can see as we dive down below the tree, it's underplanted with different varieties of heuchera. Can't remember the specific names to everything, but this side isn't doing the best as we're getting some sort of diseases on top of the heuchera. We're gonna have to cut it back and let it flush back out after removing the old growth. And I think these ones do better when it comes to that disease stuff they get on there, but it still shows up. It just shows up even better on the lighter color varieties. And the heuchera kind of spreads throughout here. It's met or capped off with another Hydrangeas. This is all gold. Actually, all of the Hydrangeas here are all gold grasses. And then we have, I believe, maidenhair fern and our hydrangea, which shows us that it's a bit more on the acidic side when it comes to the soil type in this area, as this is a hydrangea that does change colors from pink to blue depending on the soil acidity. And currently it's blue, meaning we're a bit on the acidic side. This one's really changing colors here. Now, if I come further in here, you can see there is another mix of hostas. Not sure the variety to this one, but it's got a lovely white color for the middle portions. And then there's another Francais in the back. As you know, I love Francais hostas, so I place them pretty much everywhere. And then a oak leaf hydrangea by the name Munchkin that's been growing here for the past few years. Looks like it's going to be needing a little fertilizer as it's turning a bit on the yellow side, meaning it's got some sort of deficiency. We'll get that taken care of eventually. And as we look from above, you can just see how bad the poppies look. It's probably time for me to cut these back. They do not look good. Or if not, remove them. I'm just not liking how the floppiness is. We might have to either stake it, remove it, something. But they do look pretty when they do go to flower. So it's a choice we'll have to make. This is just about it of the front garden section, at least this little small area. I hope you guys enjoyed the look around, and I can't wait to show you guys how this area progresses throughout the season. But anyhow, guys, I will see you guys in the next video, and look who I am babysitting for pretty much maybe a week or something. So one of my sisters went out of town and she dropped off her little puppy here to be monitored. So she'll be here for a little while. She's just the most darling thing. Let me get a look at your face, girl. Aw. But anyways, guys, I will see you guys next time. She also says, see you later.